Good morning. Welcome to another day. I'm not even counting at this point. We're just showing up every day. Another day, another trade. So I actually reviewed my one trade in my account from yesterday. That actually technically was a winning trade. But for some reason, I don't know where my eyes were. I wasn't paying attention to level 2 at all. I was paying attention, but I wasn't um, focused because there was a big seller that popped up at about 20 cents on there, which should have been a signal for me to exit. And I could have exited with just a couple of bucks of profit. Instead, I turned that into just a small, like 5 or 10 cent winning trade into a 40 cent losing trade, which is horrific. So, despite my title being countries in level 2, for some reason, I wasn't watching level 2 nearly as much as I thought I was. So I'm gonna have to make sure that I paying attention. I'm in a trade. So this is what news, but it's a bit too cheap. 1 million government contract. Maybe it would work for the break above 110, but so take a look at the top leading gainers today. I mean, this looked like it's just a acquisition or a merger. Was it? Um, Acquisition, yeah. I don't think this is going to be moving anywhere, but it's unfortunately it's our top leading gainer today at almost 100%. TDTH popped up after hours, up early pre-market, double topped, came back down. Probably not very interesting. Continuation from yesterday. Everything else is a really low percentage on the day. Percentage change, so there's not really anything I have on watch right now. I'm just waiting for news, basically. So through the high. It's our fourth leading gainer. Pay attention to it to see if it gives us clean pullback that maybe I can scalp. At increasing volume. It's really the only thing moving. It's a bit cheaper. But I know that these have been kind of a little bit in focus recently. Any stocks? Not gonna touch it now. See, it pops up to 112 and then gets pushed down pretty quickly. Seems like it has a bit too much selling right now, so we'll wait for it to be a bit cleaner, I think. It could push through anyways, but I don't know. It's only up 30% right now. Let it move some more. You can see the bids refreshing up there at 109. It pushes through anyway, which is pretty strong. Pretty thickly traded. This is on the back side of a move from the other day. Interested in SPHL, the dead cat bounce. I mean, this technically looks like first candle to make a new high on the daily. But it's only up 22%. Doesn't have news that I can see. The dead cat bounce. I don't know. I'd almost just rather wait for something that's more trustworthy. So far, I mean, this was an ABCD pattern that could have worked if I bought the dip down here for the double bottom. It comes back up. I've scalped 10 cents on it, maybe. But has a tweezer top up here. Not particularly exciting to trade. Wasting one of my bullets on this. MACD's negative on SUGP. Higher time frame doesn't look very nice. We got 7 minutes to 7:30 here. So STEX popping up, but its float is too high. 67 million share float, only up 16%. The news is what? 110 million share repurchase program. I mean, I don't usually like these repurchase program news headlines because it doesn't guarantee that they're going to repurchase 10 million shares. From what I understand, it just means that they've authorized it, right? Yeah, they just authorized it. It doesn't mean that they're going to buy 10 million shares today. It just means that in the future they're going to do it. Maybe. So I'm not really interested in STEX. 7 o'clock or 7:30 came and went. Um, Nothing else really popping up. SUGP's been grinding sideways. And if this continues holding up, then it might break through the high and continue higher, but not sure. It's our top third leading gainer, and there's really nothing else moving today. So if this continues holding, then maybe I'll take a quick scalp on it. But for right now, it's just not that interesting. Only up 25% right now. This has news. Um, Agreement with Novo Nordisk. There's room above 160, 20 cents. This is a higher float as well, 34 million shares. 1 minute has a topping tail already. Probably not going to touch this one either. Oh, I'm just going to keep this on watch right now. And I'm just going to continue doing line edits on my book. While we wait for something interesting. So I'm gonna pay attention to SUGP here. 5 minute candle is closing in a minute, in the next minute here. MACD is close to crossing over. We'll see what this does. As of right now, it looks like a triple top. So sometimes after testing twice a certain level and then it coming up and retesting a third time, if it breaks through, then that's usually pretty strong. But it looks like it's just rejecting again at 116 level, 115. I don't know why I have so many markers on my daily chart. And keep that one at 10. TMND kind of popping up at a weird time here. 742. High there was 327. For its successful formulation feasibility study. I'm not sure how important that is. Let's see if this curls back up, I guess. A lot of topping tails, but So the 5 minute doesn't look very nice right now on CMND. It's got a big, huge topping tail and high volume selling. So I'm not interested in buying the curl right now. Waiting for 8 a.m. or for it to curl back up and break through. So As I expected, this curl didn't really work very well, sadly. This is still trying to come up again. We're getting close to 8 a.m., so I'd be worried that if this broke through and then we have news at 8 a.m., that it's going to siphon attention. We've also got 4 topping tails now. What happens here? Does it reject? It's got some sellers piling up here at 117. I don't know. I would prefer to wait for a pullback on this. If it gives us a micro pullback here, then maybe I buy for the break of 120. Because it's the only thing that's moving at 43% now. That's pretty light volume selling. I'll take a position here, expecting the breakthrough 120, first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Top is 116. We'll make it the low of this pullback here. Yeah, it's 115. I am expecting this to go higher since we broke through that triple top, quadruple top. Let's see what it does. Break through 119. A lot of sellers stacked up. Let's see if I can get out on the ask here. No, just leave it. I was expecting this to do a 1 minute micro pullback and then go higher here, but there was just too many sellers stacked up at 120. Considering the selling was light on the pullback, I didn't expect it to be that stacked. Oh, now it goes. How annoying. Well, I'm just going to be chasing it if I get back in here now, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I suppose you could argue that maybe me getting in here wasn't the right timing, but I wouldn't have wanted to get in down here when we have such high volume. We have selling for 3 candles in a row, it being stacked up here. Whatever, it's only a $10 loss. I'll just wait for something better. I'm not touching this up here though. It's just gonna be a super grinder. this really is way too choppy. The best place for it to not be choppy was for the first break and hold of High of Day. But since it couldn't even do that, it's just not worth trading for me anymore. We're going to wait for something better. Not going to waste our second bullet in something subpar. But 8 a.m. is come and gone here. The stock has FDA clearance news, but it's 80 million share float. Wrinkles. I don't know. I should probably just stay away from $1 stocks. I always hear about people trading penny stocks, but I always lose on them. I can't make up my mind about whether I want to trade $1 stocks or not. Probably if I'm not doing well with them, I should just stay away from them. is this? SILO. To advance AI agent platform through NVIDIA developer program. So it has NVIDIA, the headline. Okay. So it rallies up to 950 and then drops all the way back down 750. Uh, Food distribution up 75%. Data infrastructure in Malaysia. I don't know. Too cheap. Pretty quiet morning. I mean, there's not really anything that's been that great. To be honest, I probably shouldn't even touch SUGP. I don't think it's smooth stock usually. I think SUGP is kind of known for being choppy. If I were to trade it, I probably should have traded SUGP at this 5-minute breakout because this is the first 5-minute candle that didn't have a topping tail. So we did a bull flag on the 1-minute. MACD crossed over. 5-minute close is a hammer. Probably could have expected it to go higher. So the best entry on this would have been down at like first candle make a new high 112. Could have gotten 7 cents on it if nothing else. Wouldn't have been a losing trade at least. Hmm. Curling high low. Only up 14% right now. But it's forming a bit of a hammer above 768. If it curls back through VWAP, maybe. But we are below the 200 moving average right now. So we need to get back up above. So this is trying to break through 750. I think if this breaks through VWAP, this does have a chance of curling. What's the volume on it though? Bigger spreads. He's positive. Take a position here, looking for the curl back up through VWAP. Top is 745. Oh, huge rejection. I thought first 5-minute candle make a new high, break through VWAP. Has a low float. MACD was positive after coming up, curling down and coming back up. Is it going to do the thing where it rejects and then it comes back up and curls through on me? Like it always does? I mean, but I spent both my bullets now. Now I can't, if this curls back through, I can't touch it. So I'll chill around and do some analysis, but just to let whoever's in the chat know that that's my my bullets spent for the day. I only give myself 2 bullets right now because I'm still learning and I'm still not profitable. So if I waste my 2 bullets, which I already have, down 22 bucks on the day now. I have to follow my rules to make sure that I don't lose control and go haywire with frustration. So we're 2 for 2 losses, so that's no more trades for me. But I really thought that this one would work. I mean, yes, it's only up 20% on the day, but I mean, there's a reason why this curled all the way up to 950. Oh well, it is what it is. This is trading. I shouldn't have spent my first bullet on SUGP. That's what I should not have done. Because if this does curl through now and comes back up to the high, then I won't be able to trade it. Or if we get news at 8:30 here, that's good. It's got some heavy sellers up at 760 there. Pops up and then it gets shoved back down. You got a bunch of sellers shorting off of VWAP. There it goes. So that's what I was expecting it to break through and then go all the way up and just squeeze up to 835. But it does a hard rejection after that. So there was opportunity. So that's kind of what I was expecting. What I was hoping for is it for it to squeeze through and then short sellers to capitulate and then it just squeezes up and you can take profit up here. Even if it does reject, there's still an opportunity there for you to get out with maybe 30 cents of profit, nothing else. But this looks like it has a lot of selling going on, so it's not going to be trustworthy anymore. I'm interested to see if we get anything at 830 here. If I spent all my bullets and we get something at 830, then I'll be sad, but so let's see if we got 830 news. This also kind of seemed like a bit of a head and shoulders pattern as well, by the way. Right? Like a reverse head and shoulders pattern. That's the other reason why this, I thought that this would work. Five-minute breakout, potential, breakthrough VWAP, head and shoulders. Decent looking news. Hmm. Too much selling. I'm not seeing anything at 830 here. I wouldn't really call this a cold market yet. We're kind of in between right now. So PPCB, biotech, 830, signs MO, memorandum of understanding. This is only up 14%. And it's really bad garbage stock. I think this is probably the worst one that I've ever seen. Holy smokes. What is this? I don't think I've ever seen a stock go this high before. Since 2013. What is that? 100,000 million billion trillion gazillion. Okay. I would never touch this stock with a 10-foot pole, I think. It just doesn't stop going lower. Whatever this is. I'm good. That's a stock that needs a symbol change. Hmm. This is a Chinese stock with no news. Low float that's popping up a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're getting anything interesting. PNRG. A lot of word soup on that news headline. I do wonder if we're going back into a cold market or not. We're still teetering on the edge right now, but there's not a lot actually holding up. They pop up and then they hard reject most of the time. That's why the bull flag patterns haven't been working very well. They've been popping up and then just going sideways and dropping back down, or they've been popping up on news and then getting shorted. The best times to buy are at the very beginning of the move. It starts moving. Seems like. So the setups that usually work for me just aren't working. 8:45. Watching for news. So I'm just waiting around for 9 a.m. I'm just going to see if there's any news. I've already used both of my bullets today, so I'm not going to be doing any more trading. The reason I'm sticking around is to see if there was anything that was worth trading today. Just to understand if I did in fact waste my bullets or not. I'm going to say I did. I don't think SUGP was a very good stock to trade. I don't do well with penny stocks. I think SILO was made sense at the time, but it was still a bit riskier. So you could argue today maybe I shouldn't have traded at all. Could have been a no trade day, could have been not a red day. I did keep my losses fairly controlled, right? 50 shares losing 20 cents, not a big deal. 5 cents, 200 shares, not a big deal. Just 10 bucks, 12 bucks. I mean, they add up though, right? Better not having a red day at all. You could argue that I could have no trades today. I could have avoided Silo because it had a big sell off. But Silo did have a legitimate pattern, reverse head and shoulders, 5-minute breakout, VWAP breakout, all at the same time. Just had too much selling. It was a little bit lower percentage on the day, but I thought the curl back up would work. But I think SUGP probably could have been left alone. So if we get anything at 9 a.m. here, then that means the day could have turned out differently. Rather than being a red day, it could be a green day. If I capitalize on any opportunities. But I think today probably would have just been, if I didn't trade SUGP, still a small red day with SILO or a no trade day. It's pretty darn slow. Everything that popped up today was a penny that held up. Unless I just jumped straight into SILO the moment it popped up, which would have been very risky because the first 1 minute candle hadn't closed yet. Volume was a bit lighter on it as well. Spreads were higher. But I'm not seeing anything here at 9 a.m. We're just kind of been a very slow day. Ugh. So right here, this actually does have a little bit of potential because it's first daily candle to make a new high above 8. But the 5-minute chart doesn't look very good right now. Got super high volume selling with a huge topping tail. MACD is still negative here. If this holds up and does break through and go up again and goes up to 850, then maybe it could retest high of day. Maybe at market open, make a move, I'm not sure. But right now it's only up 14%. Got a big topping tail. You could consider this back here to be a jackknife, which it was, 9 all the way down to 780. So I'd have a hard time if I were to trade this to trust it, knowing that this jackknife back here happened. Usually once a stock jackknifes once, it's going to do it again. You probably have to stick with smaller share size. Break, it breaks through 850. Might go higher, but yeah, it goes all the way up to 880 there for a second. All the way up to 9. Yeah, so this was the best opportunity today and I missed it by wasting a bullet. I'm curious to see if it gives us an actual proper pullback too. 48. Morning, momentum trader. No worries. Been a 2 for 2 loss day for me. 2 trades, 2 losses. Pretty bad. And now this trade here is the trade of the day that would have worked, but I wasted both my bullets. Hi there, 919, 914. Yeah, it is what it is. We're still learning. And we're keeping our losses tiny, like $10 here, $12 there. We're not going to do this every day, right? We don't want to lose $20 a day. That adds up. But there's always tomorrow. Right here is a bit interesting for like a pullback pattern here above 9 for the break back through 9. Volume is still somewhat light on this though. There's a bit of a false breakout there, but it's holding the 9 EMA on the 10-second. No, I mean, it would have worked for the retest of 950 there, 948. It's just rejecting now. So this was the best opportunity today. Well, it's not like I can't afford what I'm trading. So if I trade 1 to 2 shares, the problem is that I lose money on commissions trading in trade zero. Basically, every single trade is about $1.10 worth of commissions because they have a minimum share size. So every trade below 100 shares is like a fixed commission. So trading 1 to 2 shares is just going to lose me money for every trade I take. Granted, if I only take 2 trades a day and I trade 1 to 2 shares, like that's $2 of losing a day compared to, potentially what I'm losing today, $20. But over a long period of time, like I do still have winning days, I still have losing days. Back when I first started trading in Trade Zero, for the beginning of my account, and also for when I traded in the simulator for like 3 months, for almost 4 months, I was a break-even trader. So I would win here, lose there, win here, lose there. So for 3 or 4 months, I wasn't losing money, but something changed in the past couple of months where I started losing. And it started when I took a big loss on one stock where I traded size that was too big, up above like $10. I think I took a bigger size than I should have. I think I took like 50 or 100 shares on an $11 stock and it dropped down a full point. And that's when something changed. And I started losing from then on out. So, there's one, commissions. Two, I know that I'm capable of holding discipline and being a break even trader and not losing money. And the third reason is if I trade with too light of a share size, I'm going to have the same issue that I have trading with a simulator, in the sense that if I'm only trading with a share, it's not going to feel like I'm not going to have those emotions as much, which I feel are an important part of trading to overcome. I'm kind of treating these losses like tuition right now. If it becomes too much over a long period of time, then I'm eventually going to have to go back and do what I did at the beginning, which is back test a strategy in the simulator for a couple of months to get that confidence back if I feel like my mentality can't bring me back. If my courage is to run under the bus and I don't trust my strategy anymore, I know the setups that I'm trading work. I know that I can hold discipline enough not to just throw my account away. The reason why I know the strategy works is because, I mean, it's Ross Cameron's strategy for one. Two, there's a lot of other people that use these type of strategies. So it can work. I just kind of need to pay the tuition right now for a little bit. As long as I can keep the losses small and controlled to extend my life in the market, eventually something's going to click. But the moment that I start losing big is the moment that's a no time now. It's a time that I need to shut it down and reconsider what I'm doing. But yeah, $20 here or there isn't a big deal to me. I mean, it's not enough that it's making me feel hurt, but it's enough that it's triggering emotions, which is what's important to me, I think. It's enough to make me feel careful about my trades. and I'm not just jumping into anything and everything, because that's not constructive when I jump into everything and everything. I still have legitimate reasons why I'm jumping into these trades with SUGP and SILO. But either they weren't the right stock to trade, or my entries were poor, or I just got unlucky, and it just is what it is. Gotta find out which one of those things it is. Now, yesterday's trade, that was a losing trade. That was actually a good trade. I went back and I looked at it, and for some reason, I wasn't watching level two. I wasn't focused on my level two, because there was a big seller that popped up at 20 cents. There was a 10,000 share seller, and that should have been my signal to just get out in that ABCD pattern yesterday. I jumped in. I think it was for the break of 7. I was looking for the squeeze up to 730 or 750. There was a big seller that popped up at 720. The stock stalled for a second there on the level 2 for a few seconds. That seller sitting there on the ask, that should have been my key to just get out with 10 cents of profit. Instead, I turned a 10-cent winner into a 40-cent loser somehow. So that's another thing, is that sometimes I might be seeing setups that are okay, and I might be jumping in them, but I'm holding them too long. Probably need to switch back into breakout or bailout, and also make sure that when I jump into a trade, that I'm completely focused on level 2. I think I was probably glancing back at the chart and whatnot. But I think that probably once I get into the trade, my eyes should be on the level 2 and just sticking there, other than the occasional glance back at the chart. Because I need to be watching for signals like that. Same thing with like if I'm looking to enter a position, I should be looking at the chart. My workflow needs to be streamlined. So stock pops up, read the percentage change, read the news, read the volume, read the the price to float, the daily, read what price is doing, and if there's a certain breakout point on the 1-minute chart, like what's the high of the 1 minute, and then I go and look at the level 2 and wait for an entry. Instead, I'm kind of staring at the chart and hesitating. Like if I were to use this as an example, right? See it pop up on the scanner, my workflow would be uh, symbol, news, price, everything checks out, open it up, look at the daily, nothing nearby, look at the 1-minute chart, check the high. Well, this chart doesn't look very good, so no more level 2. But I need to be doing that very quickly. Maybe check the news headline very quickly to see if it's just a fake out. And then I pull up the level 2, and then I focus on the level 2, knowing what the high of the 1-minute candle is, if I'm looking to get an entry right away, or if I don't like its position, then I just wait for a proper pullback. Theoretically, that's what I think would be ideal. Because right now, in this current market, like correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the money to be made right now is on the first pops. Most of these stocks are popping up, but they're not holding up. So hesitation is what's just murdering me because I'm not used to buying the first few green candles on fresh breaking news. I haven't been doing that. I've most of the time I've been waiting for 1 minute pullbacks, which are bull flag patterns, and most of those just haven't been working. A lot of them have just been false breakouts. So either the fresh 1 minute pullbacks or after the stock consolidates and then breaks the highs and holds the highs. Those are kind of where the money has been at recently. From what I've kind of been observing. And in the past, my bread and butter is bull flag and ABCD patterns. They just haven't been appearing very much. Ones that are working, at least. And the problem is, you know, I can buy a bull flag or an ABCD pattern. There's a secondary problem there, is that if my entries aren't precise, then I'm going to lose on them every time. While they're doing false breakouts and rejecting in this current market. If I'm entering too early and they keep going lower because there's been a lot of stocks that have been popping up and not holding up, then it could just be a loss. If I wait for confirmation and I buy too high and it does a false breakout, then I'm just getting in on a false breakout. So it's like, what's the midpoint there? At that point, the best course of action is to include other setups in your selection that actually do make money and be more cautious around the setups that aren't working currently. Because there is market sentiment around certain setups. If short sellers notice that certain setups aren't working as much, bull flags become bear flags. After this first pop, the reason why a lot of these stocks aren't holding up is because short sellers are being more aggressive after the first few 1 minute candles. Most of these stocks aren't holding up. So the first pop works. There's a lot of traders jumping in to the first 1 minute candle. But they're taking profits quickly, and then short sellers are stacking in. Kind of just the way market sentiment has been going right now, and it's not very nice to the setups that I usually trade. There was a span at the very beginning of my small account challenge on stream where I was like 75% accuracy and like a 3 or 4 to 1 profit to loss ratio for the first 2 or 3 weeks, literally just trading bull flags. And like ABCD patterns. Now that accuracy has dropped down a lot. On the 1 minute chart, I mean. think dip trading has been working fairly well too, from what I've seen recently, which is something that I'm not comfortable with. Like you take this stock for example, right? You can draw an ascending resist or ascending support trend line here, probably, and literally just buy on dips. Probably that one's more accurate. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Like you draw an ascending support trend line, and then you literally just like it comes down, you just buy it and hold. Comes near, buy it and hold, buy it and hold, buy it and hold. It's just not something. It's not a setup that I'm familiar with. But buying dips has been working, from what I've seen. There's a lot of setups, especially when the market was hotter, when we had that period of the Chinese stocks moving. It was so volatile. But sometimes you could literally just buy on the 20 EMA on the 10-second, and it would just get bought up. Like right here, as I'm speaking again, even you could buy this dip at 9, and it goes back up to 9.30. It's a 30-cent scalp. It's pretty good. The reason I'm not doing it is because I don't just throw random setups into my my trading strategies just because I want to. That could be an argument for me going back to the simulator. But the thing is, right, is that these kind of market sentiment shifts, they don't last forever. Dip trading isn't going to work forever. So is it really worth my time to go back into the simulator right now and learn to trade like ascending support dips or like 20 EMA dips? I feel like I should stick with what I know is working right now. What will eventually work. Ross doesn't trade this kind of stuff, but and it might just mean weathering through this kind of market sentiment until it's my time. But what I do want to add, I do want to add buying breaking news because that's leaving a ton of money on the table. Buying first three candles on fresh breaking news. Buying the first or second micro pullbacks. As long as I have enough variety that I can trade what's working and leave what's not working, that's going to be a big benefit. And learning the entries on those, whatever the proper entries might be. That's market open. That's funny. Even my trading view lags there just popped up to 10 and then came down to 925 instantly. Yeah, that's why I don't trade market open. Too laggy. First few minutes. I think I'm gonna hop off here though. The 2 for 2 losses means that I can't trade anymore, so there's not even anything that I can trade at the open. I have to get to work. So I'll be back again tomorrow. We're plugging away every day, regardless of whether I win or lose. So hopefully you have some good luck at the open, Momentum Trader. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, stay green. See everyone tomorrow. Peace.